Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today is Friday, July 15th. I'm Sean Duhamel. Welcome back everybody. I know we've taken a couple of weeks off in early July. 1 week was planned and we announced it in advance. Last week, unfortunately, I was unable to record the video, and for those of you who are receiving this video via email, I'll get into a little bit more details about why that is within the email for those of you who are Mass Retirees members. But it's happy to be back. I can't believe it's the middle of July already. Now, the big thing that we are keeping a very close eye on, of course, here in Boston is any developments involving the ongoing negotiations over the state budget. As you may know, and hopefully all of you do know by now, we were able to secure a 5% cost of living adjustment in the House of Representatives version of the budget back in April. That budget is now in conference committee, and we are expecting virtually any moment now, hour by hour, day by day, a deal to be reached between the House and the Senate that would see a final version of the budget sent to Governor Baker, who then has 10 days to review the budget and make a determination of whether or not he wants to send portions of the budget back with amendment or veto them or accept them in the outright. At this point in time, we don't know what the governor's position is going to be on the COLA. If we're successful in getting the language passed by the House and Senate intact, and we're very optimistic that we're going to be able to do that. But we will be keeping you fully informed. As soon as we have some news on this, we're going to share it with you. Now, the reason why this is garnering so much attention right now, first of all, it's very important. Just this past Wednesday, the federal government announced the new inflation numbers as of through June. I'm sure all of you have seen the news. Inflation is still at 9.1%. It's at the highest point of any point in the past 40 plus years. It's unsustainably high. Hopefully it does not get worse. But there's only so much that the government can do in the short term to lower inflation. There's a lot of things driving this, from the pandemic to the war in Ukraine, to just global economic issues that really no individual person has any specific control over. And the same conditions exist really in every country across the world. In varying degrees, people are struggling with the same issues. But because of that, that makes the fact that we need a COLA in your hands and in your wallets and in your bank accounts ASAP that much more important. Now, while the state has been working on the state and teacher COLA, along with the bigger issue of the state and teacher COLA base into the future, as well as passing legislation to allow our local retirement boards to also go to the full 5% for FY23. Our local retirements have been very busy on their own right. I'm very happy to report that as of today, we have been notified that 27 of the 102 local retirement boards and their local legislative bodies have worked together to increase the local COLA base for FY23. And this is the largest number of systems that have acted in any single year since the law was first passed back in 1997, allowing cities and towns to set their own base. So we've made a ton of progress. I want to thank our local retirement boards, and particularly the 2 elected members on each local retirement board, for the work that's being done at the local level on your behalf to get this done in a timely manner so that those benefits can go to work for local retirees this year. Now, the other point I want to make is that we are now in the final 2 or so weeks of the 2021-2022 legislative session. And while the session will technically last until the first week of January, for all intents and purposes, the bulk of the work the legislature is engaged in will come to an end at the end of this month. And we will not have the ability, for instance, to override a gubernatorial veto once August comes around. And we ran into this problem a few years ago when it came to the retiree work hours. The governor vetoed it in August and we ran out of time. We do not want to see that happen again with the COLA. So we're going to be doing everything we can, working with our friends in the legislature and folks like House Republican leader Brad Jones, who is one of the co-sponsors of the COLA legislation in the House, to work with us and working with the governor to get him to do the right thing for all of you, which we're very hopeful that he will, and approve the COLA. And we just need to get there in the meantime. Now, there are other bills still in the works, but with time running out and so many different irons in the fire right now in terms of the legislature, most of the focus for us is going to be on the COLA. We're also going to have a full report in the upcoming September newsletter on the tax changes that were voted on this week, and that those debates are actually ongoing as I'm recording this on Thursday evening. There are significant tax changes taking place that will impact some retirees, and we'll make sure that we report on those again in the September newsletter, so all of you are aware of what the new law is and how you might benefit from this. In the meantime, we still get a lot of questions, as you can well imagine, each and every day in terms of what's happening in Washington, D.C. with the Social Security windfall elimination provision. I do not have any new information to provide to you at this point in time, other than recent communications directly with Chairman Neal indicate that he is still very hopeful that he and Congressman Brady are going to be able to strike a deal this year and pass WEP reform. It is something that is extremely important to all of you as well as to us to see some relief come to our members who are impacted by the WEP. I wish I had more information that I could share with you right now, but those conversations are ongoing. And it's something that if it is going to happen, it will probably happen very quickly. And we may not get a lot of advance notice when it comes to it. These things in Washington are most often unscripted. And if it's going to happen, if lightning strikes, as they say, it will be a good thing. But we're just going to have to continue our efforts, keep putting that pressure on, with the hope that we can get a deal done before the end of this year. The congressional session, of course, goes all the way through to the end of the year. There'll be a bit of a lull in the early fall leading up to the midterm election in November, and then another flurry of activity from the middle of November until the middle or so of December before things wind down for this year. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to focus on what we do have some control over, or some direct control over here in Massachusetts, and that's when it comes to the cost of living adjustment. So as I said, I'm recording this on Thursday evening. We will have an update of our hotline late on Friday. So if you tune in or call our toll-free hotline, we will have additional information at that time, potentially on a budget deal. If for some reason a deal is struck over the weekend, we will get it on our website, massretirees.com, and an email blast out to everybody ASAP. This is a big deal to all of us, and it's something that we're going to continue to put all of our efforts in until the clock runs out at the end of this month. But again, thank you for tuning in. It's great to be back with our weekly updates again, and I will be back to you again very soon, hopefully with some good news to share. Thank you, everybody.